Hi, welcome to week 3 of CSC3632 System and Network Security. The point of this week is to look at malicious code execution. Now, this means a lot of different things, but that's going to be a very practical week. So I want you, as usual, to look at the different activities on Canvas. There is some content, but for this week, I'm expecting perhaps a bit more than the previous weeks for you to look at the practicals that I've released. I've released 4 new practicals this morning and just try them. Try to explore. It's not necessarily clearly indicated how to solve each one of them. The first one, source, should be relatively straightforward, but the next one and the one after, what if and redirect, might require a bit more thinking on how you can try to get what you need. Then the second part of the lecture is on the buffer overflow. Now, the buffer overflow might be a bit intimidating if you've never done any C or assembly language, but that's fine. Even if you've done it and you forgot about it, it's fine. We don't really want to go into detail, but I've provided some, what I hope, very clear video of demonstration on the different steps of the buffer overflow. It's online. There's code that you can run on pretty much any Linux distribution. It won't work on Mac or on Windows by default, but just try to play with it, try to understand it. The buffer overflow is quite a fundamental security vulnerability. It's been exploited quite a lot in the past, perhaps less so in the last 10 to 20 years because we moved away from C and using more complex languages. However, it's coming back because many of the Internet of Things or connected objects are not powerful enough to run complex languages, and they might end up being written in C. So, and some of this vulnerability, like the buffer overflow, are therefore coming back in complex infrastructure or smart infrastructure. So have a look at this. I've also given some material on SQL injection and then cross-site scripting, XSS. I don't give that much on Canvas. There's so much good material out there that I didn't want to just copy and paste everything. But for XSS, I point towards a very nice tutorial from Google, as well as some exercises you can do. And the practicals I will release hopefully by Wednesday. I say hopefully because I'm having a bit of technical issues with some of the servers within the infrastructure, but hopefully it should be sorted by then. And those that will be a bit the same as one you do with the source, what if, and redirect. They will be progressive, incremental, and trying for you to find this, how can we exploit the system we have. Remember, what I want you is to develop your adversarial mindset. So how, when you look at a system where you have partial information about the system, how do you try to understand it, try to understand how it works, so then you can break it, right? So that's part of the exercises we do this week. As usual, all questions on this course, I still receive a few emails. I'm going to answer, the same thing I do when you send me an email, ask the question on Discord. So if you want an answer quicker, just put it on Discord directly. And for those of you who have not done all the CTF yet, that's fine. Just the numbers is going to increase a bit in the next few weeks. And at some point, you will have to think a bit about your time management, right? So how much time you want to spend on this exercise. One thing that I will repeat with the exercises, but it's important, is you don't have to have done all of them up to now before you can do those on this week. So even if you haven't done hash or sign me up from last week, you should be able to do source. And so I would encourage you to actually look at the first one that I'll release each week, because they tend to be a bit easier rather than to be stuck on the one that is a bit more complex from last week. We have a live talk this week. So at 2:30, I'll be on Zoom. I'll be mostly talking about the content, the one that you've put on this course with a different attack and threat. Give a bit more feedback because there's been a bit more details given. I'll also talk a bit about the exercises on the vulnerability, the one from WannaCry. And then I'll also, as usual, open the floor for any question, anything you want to come up. If you have a question you really want to ask, just raise your hand on Zoom, because sometimes I don't really see the chat very well. I'm trying my best, but if there's something very important, ask you on Zoom or as usual on this course. All right. Thank you very much. Good luck for the course this week, and see you either at 2:30 on Zoom today or at 4:30 in the practical room in the Urban Sciences building. Cheers.